So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Photo Conversations, where we have conversations about photography, film, and so much more about life. Well, over the past few months, while I was traveling and doing the work that I love to do, I realized something new. I noticed something new. I have learned something new. And this is something I want to share with all creatives, documentary photographers, filmmakers, writers, graphics designers, like literally anyone who is in the creative industry. It's something I learned while I was working, and it happened. It was like, that eureka moment when you realize, that this is something that you haven't given thought all through the time you've been producing the work you do. So just to give you a short background about how I produce my work. So I'm a documentary photographer and filmmaker, and most of my work is entirely based around the idea of a story, an authentic story, because I believe for me, story is the backbone of my work. It is a skeleton on which I develop all my ideas, because I feel story is it helps you to produce a holistic product. It's a robust product, because if you have story, then it's easy for you to segment your product. It's easy for you to make your product linear in a way that someone can follow from the beginning to the end. Story will give you that chronology where someone can follow through while they're looking at your work. So it has always been my basis, my main framework to produce all the work I do. It be photography, videography. I always want to base my my work upon a story. So that has been how I work, and for the past few years it has been growing, and I'm growing to like it. I'm so much obsessed with stories. I feel like if there's no story, I don't have much to work with. So it is a good tool, but I also realize it is a limiting tool. When all you think about is story, sometimes when there's no story, you literally paralyzed. So what I want to share with you today is sometimes the story is you didn't get the story. So the fact that you didn't get the story is also a story, because ideally what we do in documentary, we are documenting things as they are, as candid as possible. So this means sometimes there's no story, and the story is that there's no story. So that is what I want to share with you today. I had an opportunity to travel to Cameroon, and I really thank God, because for me it was a dream come true. I'd not really moved out of East Africa. I'd done some work in Tanzania. I've been to Rwanda, not for work. I've been to Kenya for work, but this time around I had an opportunity to travel to West Africa, and I was working on this project that I was so passionate about. To be honest with you, I've always been dreaming about, working with babies. Like, I've seen photographers that have done photos in the hospitals with the babies and the mothers. And for me, this was a dream come true, because I got a chance to work with the neonatal department in some of the hospitals in Cameroon. And for me, that was a dream come true. So, when you have a dream that you've been meditating upon, thinking about, and it comes true, the excitement is inevitable. You're so excited, you're ready to work. And I remember telling my colleague when we in the field, I remember telling him that, man, we haven't yet started working. We need to get started, That time when he had many of the debriefs and the meetings and all these things. So anyways, to cut the long story short, I got the opportunity to go out there and do the work that I love to do. So we filmed health workers, premature babies. We got these amazing stories about how these nurses look after the babies, the incubation facilities, and the neonatal center. It's amazing, and we got lots of work. I'm not complaining. We got the work we needed to get, and to be honest with you, I was happy with that. But then there was this story that caught my attention. We went to one of the hospitals, and there was this couple that had twins who were born prematurely. So what caught my attention is the role that the father or the man or the male was playing in this. It is not so common to find a father really being around and doing the role that the mother would do, especially after delivery. So this was very unique for me. We all know in Africa, most of the parenting on the side of the father is usually provide, protect. So sometimes the idea of being around is not what we we see here in Africa, and it's normal. I'm not trying to make any father feel less of a father, but that's the truth, and it's a fact here. We provide financially, we provide emotionally, we protect our families. But this time around, I saw this guy actually playing the role of a mother. And I was moved, man, because there's this method called kangaroo method where they get the babies who are premature, and because there are no facilities, because the facilities are limited, the number of incubators are limited, and you cannot have like all the babies in the district be in that space. So there's this natural method where they get the babies, and the mother ties them around the breast area, in between the breasts, to keep them warm and to keep them growing 24 hours every day. So what really caught my attention was this guy, very muscular. He looks like those strong men, but I was really, really touched by his humility and his compassion and his empathy for the wife. And he was also, tying the babies around his chest to make sure they're warm and, they can survive. So for me, that was a story. I wanted to capture this story so bad. So I told the team that, you know what, this is a story for me. I want to share this. I want to capture this in detail. I want to show the world that, there are fathers that are willing to be around for their families and provide, protect, but at the same time also help nurture the babies. So that's the story I wanted. And to make it even more interesting, I had a conversation with the guy, and he said that he's a fishmonger. So I wanted to see his life. I wanted to see how he takes how the work he does at the fish market. I wanted to go there. Literally, this entire thing required me like an entire day to spend time with this guy and capture this story in its entirety. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to capture. For me, that was the gist of everything of the kangaroo mother care method. So I wanted to get this story. So unfortunately, because of time, because of formalities, because of the other program that we had, it was kind of difficult to get this story. So after visiting him and having a short rapport with him, we organized and planned for the evening so that I'll be there in the evening. So we went on with other things and we kept doing the work as usual. But then when the time came to go back to capture this guy's story, because I wanted it to be the last story and the best story for me. So when the time came, it was already dark, and we had spent most of the time doing other things. And I'd already promised him that I'm coming back, and I told him that your kids are going to be presidents of Cameroon maybe in 20 years to come from now. And we were excited. We had built this basic relationship with him. He was expecting me. I was expecting to get the good images. But then I got disappointed. It was already late. I could not break the ethical code to go into this space after working hours. I was so disappointed. I was so heartbroken. I couldn't get the story. And of course, my team tried to, say maybe we could do it tomorrow in the morning and all this. But I knew they were just trying to console me. I didn't get the story. And for once, I felt like, man, the story is everything for me. So I never got the story. But as we were leaving the place, I realized one thing. Sometimes the story is you did not get the story. Most of the documentary photographers and filmmakers will want to go beyond what is possible to get these stories. And I respect the tenacity. I respect the willingness to go an extra mile to capture a story. But the truth is sometimes the story is you did not get the story. Sometimes what you get from that is just the experience. So for the first time, I realized that I failed to get a story at some point. And the consolation to me was, You didn't get the story, but you got this experience. And usually, for a photographer to feel like they got the story, is they need to take the pictures and document and then share. You know, that is when you feel like, okay, I got the story and let the world know about this. But then, for me, the consolation was I did not get the story, but the story is I did not get the story. So that's the story. And then, but I got the experience. I saw for myself. So certain things we see and we're not able to share, probably because of time, probably because of other ethical considerations. So really, what I would like to share with you, literally, the idea of the video is sometimes you just need to stay calm, and sometimes you don't need to break boundaries just because you want a story. Sometimes it's even about the subject, the person you're documenting. Sometimes they're not in the right emotional state to get the story. So most photographers will push, but the truth is sometimes you need to study your environment and be able to understand that for that day you won't get the story, and maybe probably plan for another day and come back when everything is in place for you to get the story. So I was disappointed, but I learned something new. I learned that sometimes the story is you did not get the story. So for me, that's what was amazing. Though my plan is if I ever go back to Cameroon for any form of work, I would love to travel back to that gentleman and probably document, his life after raising these kids. I want to see, was it a success? I want to see how are the kids living now? What have they become? So sometimes when you don't get the story, there's always another chance to get that story. But don't push boundaries. Do not compromise your professional ethics. Do not put do not put the lives of your team at risk. Do not put the ethics of your team at risk just because you want to get a story. So for me, that's what I wanted to share with you. And thank you so much for watching this YouTube video. And make sure to hit the bell button to get notified about any new content that we are producing. And feel free to subscribe to Photo Conversations Uganda. We'll keep producing content for you and to share with you. For me, I think it's not even about the number of subscribers I have, but it's more about the few people you can reach out to, and also learning along the way as you do this kind of work. I feel like we all have ideas, and these ideas should be known. It may not be today, but if someone is able to click on your channel and find this piece of information, and hopefully they can learn a thing or two. So thank you so much for watching. Catch you on the next one.